Today, Baba gives us a method to lighten the burden of sins that we have on us. So, you see that we have a very big burden of sins on us 63 births of sin, and most of it we don't remember, or we don't remember anything except some of this birth of sin. Now, when we come to Baba, we remember some things, some sins that we committed in this life. And although, when we come to Baba, after coming to Baba, we receive the definition of Pap and Punya. We don't really know what Pap is or Punya is before we come to Baba. But even before that, we have something called morality, the education of which we receive from our, religions. So we practice some or the other bodily religion. And in that bodily religion, we are taught some sense of what is wrong and what is right, and what is the boundary, and what is overstepping the boundary, and what will, what will qualify as Pap. And we have done some things which would be called a Pap according to that also. So just ask yourself, what is the furthest you can remember in this life journey, in the journey of this life? From which age do you remember your actions? Yes, so usually from the age of 3 or 4, people remember. Yes, so it may be different for everybody, but generally from the age of 3 or 4, people remember their actions. And then whatever you have done against morality, even before we came to Baba, before we came to understand that any thought, word, and act under the influence of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed counts as a sin, we had some understanding of sin and punya according to our moral standards, and according to that we have done something or the other. For example, stealing. Yes, so sometimes you take something from someone and without telling them, and even as a kid, maybe you stole something from somebody, and then you can never forget it. So the interesting thing about sin is it gnaws at your heart, it bites your heart, and you can never forget it. Nobody can say, I did this thing and I forgot. No, nobody forgets their sins. And this is the thing about sins that makes it very complicated, because it keeps biting your heart because you can't forget it. And it becomes a very big burden. Now, if you just think about, you holding something in your hand for a very long time. So it could be something very small, something not very heavy, but then the more you hold it in your hand starts hurting. Similarly, these things that weigh on your heart, that do not leave your heart, they do not, they don't go away. They keep being there. You cannot forget them. You cannot erase them from your memory. And when something lingers on in your heart for too long, it becomes a very big burden. It makes the heart very heavy. And it is very important to lighten these burdens of sin. And I'll tell you one example. So there was this one brother, and he was going through some mental illness, and he was in a very bad place mentally. And when he came to the center, he said, "Please help me." And I told him, "Okay, we will of course try to do the best we can." And then he said, "No, medicine is working, and I'm not able to recover from my present state. And there's something that, I feel like dying all the time. There's something very heavy on my heart." And then I asked him, "Would you like to tell something very honestly? What is it that is eating you up like this? So there is something biting your heart." And then he just looked at me and he said, "How do you know that?" So I said, "No, it can't be like that. It's not just a mental issue that you're facing. It's something that's weighing very heavy on your heart." And then he shared the details of something that he had done very against morality. So he physically abused somebody who was very, where there was a relationship of trust and a relationship of, respect and love. And that was weighing very heavy on his heart. And he said, "I was just 23 years of age, and I did not understand the implications of these things earlier. But then I saw that person's life crumbling in the front of my eyes, and that person never spoke anything, and I also couldn't help it. I couldn't help that situation. I did not have that confidence, or I was not man enough to do that." And then he said that thing I cannot let go of. And then he said, "What do I do about it? I cannot go and correct it. I have tried everything. I have tried beating myself. I have tried, I've tried bruising myself. I have tried, everything. I've tried torturing myself like anything. But that feeling doesn't go away. And I cannot get to that place where I feel that it's okay." And although, there is a person who I confided in after many years, and that person also said, "It's okay, just let go." But I thought maybe when I hear those words, then I'll be free. But it didn't help. So even when that person said it's okay, I didn't feel okay. And how do I release these burden of sins? So you see, it is not about, it was an act of lust, but then although, he did not have the understanding that acting out of lust is sin, he still had the understanding that there are some boundaries on lust, and you cannot cross those boundaries. So morality doesn't tell you that every act of vice is a sin, but morality defines it differently. It tells you that some acts qualify as sin and some don't. And then according to that measure, these things lay heavy on your heart. And that is why the burden that we carry from Agyan Kal, from the time when we have not been initiated to the truth by Shiv Baba, that burden is a little different from this time, because now we have clearer understanding of sin and punya. But earlier also there are many things. For example, you took away something by force, or you acted out of lust, or you acted out of anger. So I remember there was this one person, and they told me that one day this brother was having a fight with his mother, and her mother was holding the knife, and then he just pulled that knife out of his mother's hand, and that knife tore her hand like badly. And he said that, and I left him at that time. Well, I left her then and there, and I didn't know what to do next. So I just ran away from there. And then when I sleep, I have these dreams about blood falling from my mother's hand, and I cannot stop this. So these are the things that keep, and very simple things also. Sometimes you will just, you have hidden something, some truth, and then in the dream you see that, that truth is revealed, and then you feel very scared and fearful about it. So there are so many things: guilt, shame, remorse, regret, so many feelings that you have, and these are very burdensome feelings to carry. And Baba says that when we come to Baba, we should write the story of our, whole karmic journey. We should bear our heart very honestly in front of Baba. And let me tell you that any person who commits any sin, they try to come up with a story which is not very honest, and they try to hide behind that story, because your story is your version. You can speak the way you want. So, you start telling that story differently to yourself, and you try to justify your actions to yourself, because how would you live without that? If you don't justify your actions, it will be very difficult to live your life having committed sins. So you try to, manipulate yourself also. And then Baba says that when you come to Baba, be faithful and honest. So have faith in Baba. So once you start realizing who Baba is, and once you start coming to that place where you see your actions as they were, and you are not manipulating yourself, and you have the courage to bare your heart before Baba, then you do that. And if you do that, then your burden of sins will get very light. So, you will be able to draw light and might from Baba. So, this lightening of the burden is not like forgiveness. So, of course, whatever you have done, you will have to face it. So, the karma cannot be absolved by just telling Baba about everything. But once you bare your heart very honestly before Baba, then you will be able to receive Baba's love and light. So until and unless, so have you seen that if you have not been honest with somebody, then you cannot have an honest relationship with them. So honesty is very important for an honest relationship. And honest means, an honest relationship means energy exchange. So you can only have energy exchange when there is honesty in a relationship. So once you start being honest with Baba, once and the method usually is, if you trust Baba, you trust Baba's instrument also. And you give everything, your life story, to Baba through the instrument. So you write everything to the instrument and surrender it to Baba through the instrument. And there are many children who uh, take the time, and when they are talking to the instrument, then they share everything very open heartedly and honestly, and share every details of whatever sins they committed. So that is the method. But if you don't trust the instrument enough, or you are not that full of faith, then you could also use the method of writing a letter to Baba and burning it. But I think the first method works better, and you feel very light after you have shared everything. And when you do that, then you can receive, then your heart is open. And do you know that there is a saying in the world? They say that the light enters into the heart where there is the crack. And these are the cracks that the heart has, this burden of sins. And when you open your heart and tell everything to Baba, then you receive a lot more love and light after that. So it is the cracks that open up, and they allow you to absorb the love and light from Baba. So this is what we call lightening the burden of sins. So about past karma, this is the policy of honesty. And then after we have come to Baba, the definition of honesty is different. The definition of honesty is first thing, not just doing and then telling Baba. So, not just, giving a chart and every day telling, today also I didn't get up at Amrit Vela, today also I made this mistake, today also I did that thing. That's not actually honesty. So honesty assumes a much deeper meaning after we come to Baba. So honesty is about two things. When we come to Baba, after we understand sin and punya, pap and punya, then honesty, first thing is not doing what Baba asks us not to do, not indulging in any thought, word and act which is under the influence of vices. This is one honesty. So our pledge with Baba is the pledge of purity. So have you made this promise to Baba, dharat pariye dharam na chhodiye, which means that even if my head is struck off, I will not give in to impurity. So that is our promise to Baba. So not acting under the influence of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. This is honesty with Baba. But then this honesty can only be maintained if you do the other stuff, which is doing what Baba asks you to say with full honesty. So, Baba asks us to remember him, follow disciplines, read the Murli, churn the Murli, rotate the Swadershan Chakra. And honesty with Baba is about using your time, thought, word, action, body, mind, wealth on the directions of Baba. So this is also a very important aspect of honesty after we come to Baba. And then after doing all of this, still if I make a mistake, then not hiding it from Baba and being very open about it and telling Baba through the instrument, and then whatever instructions I receive, whatever directions I receive, following them and having faith that these directions are going to help me. So, and correcting myself. That is honesty after we come to Baba. So Baba says you have to be honest, and then you have to give your past burden of sins, and then you have to also be honest in this life. And then Baba says, don't sow the seeds of uh, body consciousness and lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. Because purity is the most important aspect of Brahmin life. Yes, so what is the difference between a Brahmin and a Shudra? Yes, there are people in the world and we are also the same people. So, what is the difference between us? Yesterday, Baba said that how do you become a sannyasi? Yes, you change your clothes, you shave your head, and then you do some rituals or something, and then you become a sannyasi. But how do you become a BK? Not by changing your clothes. Yes, that's not the way we become Brahmins. So, becoming a Brahmin is not about external change. And, I remember there was this one person that I met when I was in college. And, these missionaries who convince you for changing your religion. And then that was a Christian missionary, and he told me, do you want to convert to Christianity, and we will pay you some, they offered some money. And so I said, what do I have to do? So they said it was very simple. You just keep a Bible, wear a cross, and go to church every Sunday. And so I told him, is it that simple, becoming a Christian? So if it is that simple, then it's very easy. So you see, and I found it very interesting that you could change your religion in such simple ways. Like it required no effort. What effort is there? You go to a place once a week, you wear something, and then you keep some literature at home, and it is that simple. And then I was very amused by that idea, and I was not attracted or anything, but I found it interesting. And then I went home and I told my father that, do you know it is so simple to be a Christian? And then he said, what are you talking? And then he said, don't talk to them ever, and don't talk to people who talk like this. So I said, but why don't you find it interesting? It is very interesting that you can change your religion by just doing these 4 or 5 things. And he said, you have a different kind of thinking. You get interested in these things and these churnings too much. But this is what I was thinking when Baba yesterday was also talking about how you become a sannyasi and how you become a Brahmin. So Baba says becoming a Brahmin is not about wearing white clothes or something. And Baba says you wear white clothes, but it's not that you are a BK because you wear white clothes. So these are two different things, do not misinterpret it as Baba says, don't wear white clothes. So Baba says, okay, you wear white clothes, but then that is not your qualification of being a BK. Even if you didn't wear it, you would still be a BK. So what is important for becoming a BK? So Baba said a Brahmin means somebody who is soul conscious and somebody who remembers Baba. And today Baba says a Brahmin means somebody who doesn't indulge in vice. No act of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. And that is the sign of a Brahmin. Even, you see, I don't know how much we stay in awareness of this, but do you know our public image is so clear that if you get angry in public, then they will tell you you are a BK, you cannot get angry. So they don't expect you to get angry or be egoistic or greedy or attached, or a BK crying and wailing at some loss. That is not what they expect from you, because this thing they know that BKs are people who win over vices. So Baba says there should be no trace of these vices inside you. And in Hindi there is a saying, जहाँ अंश होता है वहाँ वंश जरूर होता है, which means if there is a seed, then the plant will grow. Yes. So that is why Baba says it is very important for us to burn those seeds inside us. And there is the seed of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, the seed of body consciousness. And the only fire that burns those seeds is the fire of yoga. And Baba says that you may kill Ravan, but Ravan had 10 heads, and you kill one head and the other head will come up. So have you seen that sometimes you make a pledge, I will not engage in acts of anger, and then you become very egoistic, or some other vice will creep in. So you were not angry, but you were critical, or there is some other form of vice that will come up, or you were not doing anything vicious, but then you started wasting your time, and you started watching something on the internet which was of no use, and you just started wasting your time and thought, and you did not engage in physical communication and extra talk with somebody, but then you wasted your time and thought in some other way. And when you look at your chart in the evening, it's one and the same thing. So you didn't do anything productive. And that's because, you try to kill one head and it comes up in some other form. And it's not easy to kill Ravan like that. And that's why Ravan needs to be burnt. And how do you burn? The only way to burn is in the fire of yoga. So Baba says, and there is this celebration of Holika Dahan. So when we burn Holika, then next day morning we take those chana seeds, those green chanas, and you go and roast them in fire. And that is a practice that we have in Bharat. And the remaining fire, you burn those seeds. And burning the seed is a method that the seed will not sprout again. And Baba says that the fire of yoga has to be used to burn the seed of vices inside you. And only when the seed is not there, then you will not come into action. Otherwise, you may have determined thought, you may use many methods, you will kill one vice but be trapped in some other way. And this is what Baba says, that you cannot afford to sow the seeds now, because this is the time to get rid of the burden of the past also. And if you keep sowing the seeds of vices in the present, then what will be your future? So burn them in the fire of yoga, become pure. And then today Baba talks about a very simple method to become free from the vibrations and the attacks of Maya, the vibrations and tamoguni atmosphere of the old world, and all tamoguni influences, and become Jivan Mukt. And Baba says, even while living in this life, Brahmin life, you can become completely Jivan Mukt, become completely liberated through one simple method, by becoming soul conscious. Yes, so I'll tell you one story in this regard. So there is a story about this person who had a house, and he was planning to sell the house. And then he found a buyer, and he sold the house to him, but the papers were not signed. And the papers had to be signed tomorrow. And tonight, the house got burnt. And when this person stood in front of the house, he was crying very badly, because he said, now I lost a lot. And then suddenly somebody came and he said that no, those papers were already signed. And then he stopped crying, because now he didn't feel the pain. Because it was no longer his house and he had lost nothing. So Baba also says, all pains, all discomfort, all influences, they are a product of this consciousness of I and mine. When something is not mine, then it doesn't affect me. And how do you overcome this consciousness of I and mine? By tuning into soul consciousness. What is soul consciousness? Soul consciousness is, I am a soul, I sit in this body, I play my part on this stage, I use the resources, but I am none of them. I am not the body. I am not the resources I use. I am not the part I play. I am not the character I play. I am just a peaceful, pure being of light, child of Baba. And when you internally tune yourself into your qualities, your essence, your form of being just a point, which is very distinct from this whole world of 5 elements of matter, then you have positioned yourself internally in that place which is free from all influences. And then nothing influences you. Whatever action you perform is a very deliberate choice. There is no reaction. And if you are soul conscious and you are seated in your essence of peace and purity, then it is also like wearing your own perfume, which is so loud and clear that no smell of the atmosphere, disturbs you. And the vibrations and atmosphere around you only affects you only when your essence of purity and peace is not emerged. So this state of soul consciousness is a state of being totally beyond all influences. And when you position yourself like that, then you are living in this world, but you're completely unaffected by anything and everything around you, whether subtle or gross. And this is the stage of Jivan Mukti. This is the stage of being in life and experiencing the stage of complete liberation. So this is liberation in life. So Baba gives us the formula for this beautiful state also. All right, Om Shanti. Anybody wants to share anything, please do.
Om Shanti, Didi.
Om Shanti.
Today, Baba says, even if you make trivial mistakes, it creates a karmic account. So, even if in your thoughts also you can make a mistake, even if it is small, but then think that it is a very big mistake you created, you made, and you have to work on yourself because it is going to create an account, and when this time of settling accounts, you cannot make new accounts. So Baba says, create it, make it, like, consider it a bigger mistake and work on yourself to correct that. And then he says that like, we are coming close to our perfect stage, so you cannot afford to make new mistakes. And I was thinking on it, Didi, that when someone makes a mistake, we focus on it and we make it a bigger picture that he shouldn't have done this. But at the same time, when we make it, we just try to make it smaller, we diminish it. So we have to work on that also, that if I am making a mistake, I just focus on it and make it a bigger picture. And if someone makes it, so Baba here says that when you make it, then you create. Don't make, like, the, vice versa. Don't make it a bigger thing if someone makes it.
Right. And also why Baba talks about this is, Baba says, sit in the awareness of the theory of karma, right? So what is the theory of karma? The theory of karma is that in Satyug and Treta Yuga, every karma is a karma. From Copper Age to Iron Age, it is one ka one. So you make one mistake, one fold punishment you receive. But in Sangam Yuga, it is 1:100, or multiple times. So that is why at this time, even a small mistake is going to cost you, because the account is different in Sangam Yuga. So when we come to Baba, then we do a little thing and it gives a lot of punya karma, and we make one mistake and it diminishes us from our status. That's why Baba says, be very careful. Don't take, earlier when we were in Agyan Kal, a mistake was not such a big thing because we were not receiving so much sustenance from Baba. But now it's a big thing. Okay. So just like, a layman making a mistake about a machine is not a big thing. But a qualified engineer making the same mistake is a big thing because they studied for that. So that is the difference between I making a mistake and a person who is not in Gyan making a mistake. Okay, Om Shanti.
And I also liked one more point, that all pains and discomfort is a product of I and mine.
Yes.
If it is mine, then
yes. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Today what I understood from Murli is the karma is pulling our consciousness every time. And till now we were unaware of this. So we did karmas unconsciously. We relied on our mind, our emotions, our feelings. And still now we all are in procedure of working on that. And Baba said today that karma ki stage will be achieved when it's the time of destruction. Till that we are on working process.
Correct.
And I and mind consciousness will be absorbed only through yoga.
Through soul consciousness.
And
yes.
And this is what I understood today from Murli.
Yes.
And when we do all our karmas based on Trikaldashi Sthiti, then we will be able to command our mind and body and our actions.
Yes. Very good. Thank you.
Now law of karma is very actively working in background all the day, Didi.
Yes.
It's very naturally, Srimati is in the mind for everything, from Amrit Vela till night. But still, there are some actions which we know, but we are not able to control it. So, first I settle my mind, I accept myself, and Baba is accepting me anyways. And I have to keep some patience and keep working on that.
And also, just like we discussed, that the seed is there, right? So the seed is not burned. So we are trying to cut the head off, but then it emerges. So that is the thing that's happening. And we have to make more and more effort to burn the sins. And it's not an easy thing, burning your sins with intense yoga is something that requires very sustained and very intense effort over a long period of time. So until then, we have to be very sweet to ourselves also, and not keep
Because the
bashing
patterns
ourselves.
are very rigid, Didi.
Yes, that's
So,
true. Yes, of course, of course. Hanji,
thank you. Om Shanti.
thank you. Om
Shanti
Shanti.
Didi.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Didi, actually, today Baba is saying that that our thoughts, words, and actions should not be under the influence of vices. This we are hearing it every day, and this is in our consciousness also. But sometimes it also goes away from our mind also, and many wrong things are happening in our we are performing it, and after that we are realizing it. So the day I was not there for many days. I was out of town, and I had not taken my phone also. I had left it at my home, so I was unable to do the classes and all. But although I was in the trip with my family, I was practicing soul consciousness, and also I was remembering Baba, but I was not able to read Murli because I had left my phone at home also. So when I came back also for 2 days also, I was not getting the time to sit and read Murli and write my points, which I do every day for 1 hour or 1.5 an hour. So yesterday only I took the decision that at like 5 o'clock in the evening that no, I will take my tea and I will I will not open my TV and all, and I will not sit in front of it because it will consume my time. So then I wrote all my points. I read Murli and I finished it, and I also attempted the quiz and all. I also did it, and I felt very good. Then then I was I was making my daughter study. Then after taking dinner, also at 10 o'clock, that I decided that I will watch a movie with my daughter, and we sat for a movie, and I was watching Dangal with my daughter. Then after that, I told my daughter that क्या हम लोग यहाँ से सीखे बोलो. हम लोग सिर्फ 2 घंटा मूवी देखे, and at 12 o'clock we went to bed. So like all these small like things are happening, but I'm not able to control also. So like I'm practicing soul consciousness, but most like purity is like missing many times actually.
So that's because so what you need to do for purity is fill yourself with, so there has to be a balance between knowledge, yoga, discipline, and seva. So when all the forces come together, then you will be able to practice purity. And if you leave anything, leave any leeway anywhere, like you missed Murli and all, so of course the soul gets discharged very fast, and then you start making these mistakes. So even if you're going on a trip and leaving your phone behind, just ask, we'll give you some Murlis in advance, and you can get them printed, and you can study them while you're on vacation or something. So it is, so never miss Murli. Yes. Anji. Om Shanti.
Yes, yeah. And also, Didi, I'm trying to I want to write many things to you, but I'm unable to like confess them, like messaging you or WhatsApping you or something like
No,
that.
it's not a good idea to write on WhatsApp also. These days technology is not a very safe medium. So you must make it a point to, when we meet, talk and share and tell things. We also don't encourage people writing their life stories on WhatsApp. That's not a good idea, because again technology is a double-edged sword. But whenever we meet in person, and then, there is, even if it's 5 minutes, you could just bare your heart, and that's the way you give your chart, give your life story. Okay.
Yes.
Shanti.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Didi, I would like to say
Hanji,
something.
Hanji, please, Hanji.
I understand that outer vibration affects us. So how we can remove this, and we cannot be affected by the outer situations or the vibration, whatever the other people are saying that. So we can do, I always try to adopt or inculcating in ourselves that we should be every time, for 1 second or 2 seconds is a pause, and then you think yourself, and then you speak. Then we get the 4-5 seconds time to soul consciousness, how to behave and what to speak.
Yes.
That this situation making me, I experience that this situation making me position, I can say the position me, or I can say the tune myself ki how to behave. That behavior is not affecting outer things, and improving my position in the society.
Correct.
In this Sangam Yuga, we have to do this.
Yes.
That I understand.
Yes.
And today's I learned this.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
yes, thank you for sharing. It's a very beautiful method to be soul conscious, which we call pause for peace. Just take a second or two before you speak or act. And this is a very conscious way of tuning yourself to soul consciousness before engaging in action, or setting your stage before you act. And thank you for reminding. Very nice point. Okay. Om Shanti.